More than 12 hours after a massive fire broke out at an apartment complex in Boulder, firefighters are still on the scene dealing with hotspots. We're hearing from some of the people who escaped the burning building.
There was a little bit of panic, but it got us out of there.
COVID-19 numbers in Colorado are climbing. Our 9 Health expert joins us to provide some context as to why that is and what we can do about it.
Colorado has been called a leader in gender-affirming health care.
It's exciting for sure.
The transgender community calls this a necessity. 4 o'clock at 9 News starts now.
Hundreds of people are now left without a place to call home, but they're also feeling lucky after a large early morning fire in an apartment building in Boulder. Thankfully, no one was hurt.
Let's go live to Darius Johnson. He's outside those apartments on Pearl Street. And Darius, we just heard from fire officials. Give us the latest.
Tom and Kim, that update just wrapped in the last 30 minutes, and I can tell you right now, fire officials are still working to put out hot spots and flare-ups 12 hours later, and they say that this could go on for the next day or so. I can also tell you this. One thing that those impacted by the fire continued to tell me this afternoon is that it was the running and chaos in the halls that woke them up, not the sprinklers nor the fire alarms. Sound asleep on a fall morning in Boulder.
I was awakened by running, the thuds of the footsteps coming down the breezeway there.
One neighbor awakened by fear while another neighbor awakened by a pleasant sound.
And I just heard this loud popping, kind of like when you're out by a campfire and you just hear that loud popping, but it was 10 times as loud.
Once CU student Ruger Vanecki got out of bed, that pleasant sound was gone.
So I jumped downstairs and I looked through the front window and I just saw the flames. And so I was like, oh shoot, and I tried opening the front door, but it was just way too hot.
He had to make an escape plan, while Dennis and Kate Arnold made a run for it.
On the way out of the building, we were able to look down westward into the building toward the fire and, just saw this raging wall of flames working its way up towards us.
They made it down the stairs on their end, but the staircase near Ruger was engulfed in flames. He says he started hopping from balcony to escape.
I was not thinking about slipping now. I was honestly just running, because otherwise I'd have to jump, and I was not thinking about jumping.
Cushion used by other people who escaped were still left behind.
Epic maneuvering that they used to get out of the building.
Neighbors in the 83 units impacted made it out after losing just about everything.
I only got out with my phone, my sweatshirt, and that's about it.
Right now, the Red Cross is assisting everyone who has been impacted by the fire. CU is also working to assist the students that live here as well. This is an off-campus apartment or just a regular apartment that a lot of students choose to live in off campus. Tom and Kim, I have one important thing to add. Fire officials, they are very fearful of a partial collapse due to the damage that you can clearly see right here behind me. They are asking anyone, if you live here, if you rent a unit, if you own a unit, they want you to get in contact with Detective Sharon Ramos. That number is at the bottom of your screen. They are just trying to account for everyone at this time. They've been unable to send some of those crews and officials into some of these buildings where the structure is just so bad and so unsafe to check for people. So they are trying to account for everyone, and they need you to be able to call them to do that.
All right, it is quite a story. Consider the time of day and that many people involved. At this point, it stands as bad as it was a lucky event.
Absolutely. Scary. So scary. All right. Thank you, Darius. We're taking a live look outside. You could see some of those pictures from Darius where he is. It's sunny, it's nice, but in some spots it's pretty cloudy.
Yeah, we have seen some cloud, even a little shower here and there. Danielle's joining us now with a look at what has happened and what is on the menu for the rest of the day weather-wise. Hi, Danielle.
The menu.
The menu.
Well, what are you cooking up, Tom?
Well, we'll have a couple of apps.
Yeah? How about a charcuterie board? That
there we go.
Nice.
It's pretty fancy for me, but okay.
Okay. Well, Kim and I will partake in a charcuterie board.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, Mother Nature kind of giving us a bit of everything today. The clouds, the sun, as well as the rain, the snow up in the high country too. So really it was all about location, location, location. Still cloudy skies sitting across the Fort Collins area out towards CSU. As we look across downtown Denver as well, it's a pretty similar story. Take a look at kind of what we have going on across the state. There is those kind of dark, ominous skies sitting across downtown, and then off to the west, maybe a couple little breaks with a bit of sunshine. Right now, the center of circulation conditions still sitting and spinning in northern Colorado, pushing up toward Wyoming. Some heavy snowfall in and around Cheyenne. As we zoom into I-25, maybe a couple of quick raindrops right there around I-25. Otherwise, the heaviest snow positioned up in the high country where we do have that winter weather advisory. It'll continue for the park, the Elkhead Mountains, the flat tops till about midnight. A couple more inches possible. Futurecast indicating by about 6:30, 7 o'clock, another round of rain rolls through Denver. And if you're heading south toward the Palmer Divide, you might even find a few snowflakes. No accumulation here, and this system clears out fast. But man, the winds, if you have been out and about, 35-mile-per-hour wind gusts coming through Denver. Look at Akron, 51-mile-per-hour gusts. This cold front charging in, keeping our temps in the 40s and 50s here in the metro. Southeastern Colorado basking in the upper 70s. Oh, it's coming your way soon. As we look at the futurecast, you can kind of see the cloudy skies and the cooling temperatures. They'll be with us. Tomorrow, the sunshine returns, and then I do have some warmer days ahead. Just how warm, I'll let you know. And I'll show you that 7-day forecast when I see you in about 10 minutes.
The woman accused of shooting and killing a postal worker in Longmont will remain in jail. Devin Schreiner was denied bond this morning and formally charged with first-degree murder in the death of Jason Schaefer. According to court documents, Schreiner had been fired from the same Longmont postal branch where Schaefer worked after a, quote, incident. The two used to date. They did have a child together. Longmont police says Schaefer received threats from Schreiner leading up to the shooting. Another hearing is set for January. Prosecutors opened their case today against a man accused of brutally beating and raping a woman in 1984 in Lakewood. He is the same man convicted of killing a family in Aurora. It's a case that is centered on DNA. Alex Ewing faces multiple counts of first-degree murder in the hammer attack on Patricia Smith, a case that was cold for decades before a 2018 DNA match led investigators to him. DNA was at the center of the opening statements, the prosecutor arguing that the presence of Ewing's semen at the scene shows that he committed the crime, and a defense attorney asserted that other physical evidence points to someone else as the killer.
By the end of the case, it's all going to link up. It's all going to show that the defendant is the person who did this.
It doesn't make sense because it ignores that the physical evidence points to someone else. Their theory is wrong, and their theory does not make sense. And the reason it doesn't make sense is because Alex Ewing did not kill Patricia Smith, did not rape Patricia Smith, and is not guilty.
Ewing was convicted in August of killing Bruce and Deborah Bennett and their daughter Melissa in Aurora a week after Patricia Smith's murder. He's serving 3 life sentences for those murders.
By the end of the week, Moderna and Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccines could be formally approved for booster shots. There are indications that you may be able to mix and match booster shots as well, and that could make a huge difference for state officials who are trying to deliver boosters to as many people as possible, with the colder weather pushing people inside and our flu season ramps up.
You don't have to worry about getting a Moderna shot if you got Moderna before, or Pfizer shot if you got Pfizer before. You really can get any of the vaccines as a booster, and it will work just as well as if you got the original.
In fact, some doctors say switching it up could actually provide more protection. Early research shows antibody levels for those who got the J&J shot increase 76 times 2 weeks after receiving a Moderna booster. The FDA is expected to release that guidance as far as mixing and matching as soon as this week. And doctors in the far southeastern part of our state call these times the greatest public health crisis of our generation. So they're trying to make it personal. 9 News reporter Angeline McCall spoke with one of the doctors who signed an open letter to that community. Angeline joins us now with the details.
Yeah, Tom, there's a lot of concern looking at this map. There are numbers here in Colorado that are not going in the right direction. Some counties are already in the red, as you can see, but we're going to focus on Baca County down here, which is in the orange, where physicians are asking the community to get vaccinated. Doctors at Southeast Colorado Hospital sent this letter to people in Baca County. Keep in mind, they have one of the lowest vaccination rates in the state, just 46%. They worry if things don't change, they won't be able to send patients to bigger hospitals, fearing they'll be turned away for more specialized care if they're full with COVID-19 patients.
But if those hospitals are at capacity because of COVID infections, that really affects us in a very big way. It delays care for people who genuinely need a higher level of care or specialty care. And so there's a lot of effect for people who are not affected, who do not have COVID-19.
The letter talks a little bit about how patients have trusted them in the past, so doctors are asking for that same trust once again, especially during a time when numbers are increasing daily in most areas. Tom.
You tend to think in smaller counties around Colorado, Angeline, there's also a closer relationship between, a more personal relationship between many doctors and patients. That might help too.
Yeah, they're hoping to, gain that trust from wherever they can grab it, especially when those general physicians are in touch with the patients and maybe they can convince them. So we'll see.
All right. Thanks, Angeline. Well, after splitting 2 home games to open their season, the Avs will get a big lift tonight in their first road test of the young season. Nathan MacKinnon joined the team in Washington today before tonight's game with the Caps. Now for him, this will be his regular season debut. He missed the first 2 games due to a positive COVID-19 test. Well, since he's tested negative twice, so he's clear to play. MacKinnon, also fully vaccinated. He says he never showed any COVID symptoms. The Avs actually starting out 3 straight on the road. The puck drops in D.C. just within an hour at 5 o'clock Mountain Time.
They needed that news.
That's good news for the team as they hit the road. Of course, dropping the game to St. Louis, but they have 3 tough ones, and they've got MacKinnon back. They'll get Gabriel Landeskog back as well from his suspension on this trip when they go down to Florida.
Okay. Well, we'll be watching.
Of course.
Well, if we can watch.
Many people will be watching. Many others will be
find out.
following along in the
Some other
newspaper,
way.
on Twitter.